What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Someone's PC. With me today is Brad Curcio on your left, and the bottom right-hand corner is Azul Grigo. Azul just made top 8 at Madison Regionals, which is like what? Your 4th top 32 in a row? No. Have you scrubbed one yet? Like lately? I feel like you've been Mr. Consistent.
Lately, yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, not so much.
Oh, okay. I guess so. But,
Before that, he played Snorlax.
Yeah. Bad.
That was a while ago.
That was bad. So, we're here to talk about the standard format in preparation for Mexican regionals, Mexico City regionals, which is the final regionals of the season. And holy crap, we've done a lot of traveling. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they're going to Mexico. I'm not, and I'm really happy I'm not because this is way too much traveling. And I don't know. I feel like the deck decision for this weekend is kind of tough to make. Just because the first week we had the initial reaction was like beat Garb and then beat the people you think are going to counter Garb with whatever X deck, and it like added a lot of variety to our top cut. So pretty beast. Yeah. So let's get right into it. We're just gonna run through all the decks in current discussion and a couple of plays that we think you guys should be making for regionals or for your league cups this weekend. In case you're grinding out your final couple of points. I think according to Wambolt, only 50 people right now have their invite for Worlds. And judging on statistics based upon League Cups as well as...
Is that just North America, or is that...
Just North America.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole world, that'd be crazy. But I think he said he's expecting between 112 and 125 after Intercontinentals to have their invite. Which is almost half of last year, which was 220 from North Americans. That's a lot of people, but cool. We're going to start with the probably most expected deck of the meta, which is Drampa Garb. It didn't win a regional this weekend, right?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
It kind of bombed.
No,
Did it lose in finals, or was second place Zoroark in...
Zoroark was the
Zoroark,
European event.
Yeah. And then wasn't there another regionals?
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure where it was, but I don't think Drampa won.
Okay, I think it was full of Drampa though. Like there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I think there was a lot more Drampa in Europe and that event than Madison for sure.
Gotcha. So, how do you guys currently feel about Drampa Garb? And do you think it's something that people? I mean, you should always expect it. Do you think it's still a safe call this weekend for your League Cup?
For League Cups, sure. I feel like League Cups are very, very, very specific to your own meta. So, like, almost anything can work at any League Cup. Mm-hmm. But for regionals, I wouldn't play Drampa. I think it's too expected. Way too expected. And it's not good enough to deal with the hype.
Yeah. Azul?
I almost fully agree, but I feel like it actually is maybe in a better spot this week than last weekend. Because everyone was playing, like, you have to be able to beat Drampa Garb. And now it's like, Drampa Garb did okay. There's all these new decks. Like, a bunch of new decks came out of nowhere. You have to be able to deal with these new decks, or at least some of them, and, like, maybe pick up some, at least 50-50, a lot of them. Because there's so many decks right now that are viable.
Yeah.
So I feel like it might be a better weekend for Drampa Garb this weekend. You can tech it out to beat some of the more successful decks. You put in a Spinda, you put in an Oricorio. You fixed, or at least boosted 2 of your matchups to slightly favorable or better. So, and then you still have the power of Drampa and Garb. So I feel like it might be a better weekend for this weekend than last, for sure.
Do you like Oricorio better than Karen, and why?
Yeah. It depends on the deck.
Karen is over Drampa Garb, obviously.
Drampa Garb. Okay, Drampa Garb specifically. I think one of the main things that comes out if you play double stretcher or single stretcher. If you play double stretcher, I think you always play Oricorio. If you play single stretcher, I think it's like I'm kind of torn between which one is better, especially because you can use Drampa a lot to just kind of stall and keep ripping their DCE while you set up your Garb plus Karen combo, and then I'm pretty sure they just lose the game. But it's sometimes really awkward to use Karen. Like sometimes you're substituting Karen for not attaching energy for the turn, and then it's like, well, you didn't kill my Vespa Queen. I can just kind of Sycamore again and like smack you for like 60, 80 damage and still set up a 2-shot. So that's where Karen is kind of awkward, but Oricorio is always like if they're if they're not one-shotting my Drampa, I'm fine. If they're one-shotting my Drampa, Oricorio's like knocking out 2 things. So, and then with the double stretcher, you're using it 2 or 3 times in a game, and they just can't keep up with that because they're constantly discarding Pokemon. As long as you're killing, even if they're not discarding Pokemon, you're still killing stuff. More Pokemon are being added to their discard pile. You're doing more damage with the next Oricorio. So I think it comes down to stretcher count. So if you play 2 stretcher, I would definitely do Oricorio. If you're not playing 2 stretcher, it's like 50-50 between which one's better.
Oricorio also has that full utility against every matchup. Like if you're playing Karen, you literally can't use it against anything else except for Vespiquen. And then Oricorio, you can trap players that misplay or field blower away your Floatstone Lysander and then start like killing with Oricorio for 50 to 70 per turn.
Yeah, I heard about a couple cute plays over the weekend in Madison where it's like, oh, I couldn't friend Jacob couldn't kill Layla, hit it for 160. Next turn, Oricorio, snipe it, finish it off.
Yeah.
So there's still always like those options out there for Oricorio, different matchups.
Okay. Espeon Garb, one that was popularized, I guess by like Kika, Peter, and Finn in Seattle. I think everyone's now playing a Flareon, if I remember correctly, especially after seeing Vespiquen and seeing Metagross this past weekend. So, Brad, I know you like Espeon more, but like, what about it is going to be better? Like, do you think it beats Drampa more than like?
I think the matchup's like 50/50. Really, really, really close, but Confusion is just annoying for literally any deck to deal with. So, like, I played against Espeon in Seattle, and I was fine, but I played 4 Floatstones and 2 Ultra the Moon, so I could just retreat without a problem. But for, like, the standard list where they play Magma Base and less Float, they have to either risk attacking into Confusion or waste energy or something, so it just forces them to play more awkwardly and theoretically play more items, so Garbodor is better later. But I'm not 100% sold on it because Espeon doesn't do a whole lot by itself, and it's easily played around. So they can just not attach energy, then you just don't do any damage, and they can not attack into your Confusion, and you're still not doing any damage. So it's weird, but I like the idea of it.
Okay. Same for you, Azul? I don't know if you play with the deck much.
No, not much. I mean, I played against it. I mean, Espeon in general, I feel like is like a fairly underwhelming card. I think you definitely need Flareon, and then you probably definitely need Vaporeon, depending. That's like I don't know how popular Volcanon's gonna be, but it's like you might need the Vaporeon as well.
But like looking back at what Pendy did in top 8, like would you rather have the Flareon with his Vespiquen?
Oh yeah, if you have to choose between the two, you play Flareon. Yeah. If you can fit both, you probably put Vaporeon in as well. Well, it's like a call.
If you're playing for your League Cup, you probably just fit both. Like
make sure you get
yeah. Cool. There's not much else about that deck that's too intricate. It was very, very close to Drampa Garb. Would you guys play the Team Flare Grunt in your list for either or?
I would.
I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would. Well, I guess in Espeon maybe not because you're not attacking with Drampa to get rid of like special energy anyway, so you just confuse them and don't care if they attach more energy. So I probably wouldn't play it in Espeon, but in Drampa I would.
Cool. All right. Azul and Volcanion. So last week you didn't play Max Elixir, and you lost in top 8 to like just abysmal hands. Like you're like Lele Sycamore. Do one thing pass. Like it was nothing too entertaining. So going into this weekend, do you still think Volcanion's a good play? Do you play Max Elixir, and would you now add in a Karen to counteract all the Vaporeon crap? Or, like, what would be your tech answer to kind of counteract any kind of Vespiquen you may see? Because I still think that deck's going to be very popular. I think some people just love Vespiquen or the concept of revenge. Like Flareon, Dylan, that kind of thing. So,
yeah. Max Elixir would be a call. Like, I prefer to play it if I can. If I don't have to play it, I don't really care. And that comes down to, how much Garb there's going to be. Which I think is like if you can get a read on how much Garb there's going to be, it makes your deck choice a lot easier. But that's going to be like the hard read you're going to want to make for the tournament. And then if there's not going to be a lot of Garb, put the Max Elixir in. If there is, well then, if you still want to play Volcan, I don't think you should be playing Max Elixir. For the Vespiquen matchup, I don't know if I would add anything. I think if I did add anything, it would be Oricorio. Once again, it's just kind of smoother, and the Volcanion deck is kind of slow, so it's hard to afford to take turns off to Karen. And they always have, once they know you play Karen, they just sit on their Zoroarks and don't use their Zoroarks. So you still have to deal with Zoroark, Vaporeon. That gives them like 1 or 2 turns to reestablish Vespiquen. So I think Oricorio is probably the way to go. You can even just like Oricorio snipe their Vaporeon at some point if you want to tech for that matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, but in general, just if they play the Vaporeon, which they should in almost every list, it's just kind of awkward. Like, it's just tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough.
It's just awkward. It gets tough. I don't think it's maybe like 60-40 for them favor or a little bit less, but it gets really awkward once they have the Vaporeon out.
Yeah. Brad, Volcanion, do you like it?
Yep.
Would you build it pretty much the exact same way as Azul did, the 2-Turtonator?
Yeah, if I was in Wisconsin, that's literally what I would have played. But I mean, we tested it before on stream a little bit, and like 8 or 9-0'd against Garbodor, things like that. So that was what it was built to beat, and it beats that pretty handedly. For everything else, like with more hype for Lurantis or Metagross, then it's just better.
Yeah. How's the Bulu matchup? The Vikavolt Bulu. Like, did you think it was fine? Do you think if you had a Hex Maniac, you just run them over? Or
yeah, so Hex would be like, the thing is, like, it's still awkward to get the turns where you can Hex plus knockout, but like I beat 4 of them at the tournament.
Yeah.
I ID'd 1 because I didn't know what he was playing before, and I maybe would have played it out, and then I wouldn't have ID'd day 1. But I didn't know what he was playing, so I was like, I'll just take the ID. Yeah, and it was all pretty straightforward. Like, I didn't feel like any of them were a real struggle. I lost 1 game total, I think, to the deck, and I just was just like a brick hand, not a brick hand, but like a super slow. It's like Sycamoring, looking at my hand, didn't even attach Energy Pass. But besides that, there was like maybe 1 close game, and the rest were like I was fully in control for the most part. And then sometimes they just like you can just kill their lone Grubbin and play. They don't get the turn 1 Bridget, and then there's like another like an easy way you can take wins.
Yeah, then you Turtonator and the game ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They struggle like the late game. They struggle to kill 1-shot Turtonator. So
makes sense. All right, Vespiquen. Do you guys think it's the play, or it's had way too much presence now with a win and a 2nd place, as well as being piloted by, freaking Pramawat? Like, would you guys even play it? Would you consider it, or there's just gonna be too many counters?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I would really play the deck anyways. But yeah, I feel like it's with Karen and Oricorio existing, it's easy enough to counter. Like, obviously you can play around them, but in order to continue winning with the deck, you already had to be a good player with the deck, and now in order to play around Karen and Oricorio, you have to be even better. So I've never really played Vespiquen, so I don't consider myself that good with the deck. So I just would stay away from it personally. And as far as it being like the good play or whatever, I think it's fine if you are confident in your ability to play it.
Is it the same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. I wouldn't play it. I don't think it was my 2nd choice going into Madison, so I almost played it. I was very close to playing it. I definitely don't think I'll play it this weekend. It's like at the bottom of my list. I don't think I would suggest playing it. I think there's going to be so basically if someone plays Oricorio or Karen, I feel like it doesn't matter how good you and your opponent are. It turns the matchup into about 50-50. If they play both, it gets worse if they can efficiently use Karen. Like, that's the problem with Karen's like kind of like a weird card to actually counter Vespiquen because you have to be efficient with the turn you use it, or it kind of didn't do anything. Oricorio is like a very easy, smooth answer. If you're picking between them two, Oricorio counters Vespiquen way harder in terms of just being a smooth answer consistently. Karen is not like a consistent answer to Vespiquen. It does, if you ever get the play off though, it does hit harder and kind of lock them out of the game in 1 turn. Whereas Oricorio might just give you an edge you need to win the match closely. But yeah, I think too many people are going to be like Oricorio has also been exposed as a card that's good in other matchups besides Vespiquen this weekend. So that's like another reason that more people are going to be putting Oricorio in their deck and be like, well, I can I maybe get to use it against X matchup for if I get an awkward situation and it beats Vespiquen. So yeah, I don't think Vespiquen is very good play going into this weekend.
Yeah. Okay. Solid. I would never play the deck once in my life in a tournament. I would never. It's not my kind of deck, Like I'm picking it up when you guys had me play Mewtwo and Roanoke. I felt like crap. It was just a boring day. Metagross, something I've been hyping for a while now, and then the Shemansky's party with it, and then Connor had his good list and so forth. Was it a one-time thing, one-hit recruiter, or do you guys actually think Metagross is a real deck? If so, I don't know what really to say. There's not much that can beat Metagross besides more Hex Maniac. Pokemon Rangers in most of the list, so it's not that good. And Metagross already has that Karen inside of it, like you mentioned before. Because it can do stuff on that turn. It can Karen and then just attack with the Metagross and sweep off the Vespiquen, right? So it has that ability inside of it. But yeah, Azul, how do you feel about Metagross? It's a stage 2-1, so I know you don't like it. But do you think it was like a one-hitter quitter, and then we're kind of done here because everyone knows about it, or do you believe it's actually something?
I think it's something because you definitely beat like both Garb decks. I think you beat. I mean, Espeon Garb was harder if they play the Flareon. It might be even a bad matchup. I don't know. But like as you saw, Chris was able to handle Flareon decently well against Mike. I think the deck is still definitely viable. You obviously still beat Garb. You beat Zoroark decks, which I think we're definitely going to see a rise in coming into this weekend. You beat the Zoroark decks. You beat the Garb decks. You don't like your Volcanion is obviously a bad matchup. And then it's like you don't really lose too much else. I mean, I think we'll start to see more Hexen decks, but I feel like that's something you can still play around. I think to play around that, you just up your max potion count. Yeah. So you can answer that turn of them being like Hex. You can go, okay, max potion, retreat, I'll beacon for my turn. And they can't Hex like continuously. There's a Vulpix active where they're gonna hit the Vulpix and Hex. You're like fine with that as well. Take another turn off. So I think the deck is still definitely viable. I think you just have to play it a little bit differently. Your matchups will be a little different because I think we will see more Hex going into this weekend for sure.
Yeah, and people also cut back on VS Seekers to 3 in almost every list. So that means less, like even more less Hex.
They don't play the Hex now. Yeah, they don't play the Hex now, and they only play 3. A lot of people only play 3 VS Seekers, so it's like, they have to find another spot.
Brad, thoughts on Metagross?
I pretty much agree. I don't really like it because stage 2, but I think it's a fine deck.
Boring.
I mean, I don't think it like loses anything from being exposed. It's, like, outside of, I mean, like you're still gonna lose to Volcanion if it's played, Flareon, stuff like that. So yeah, like you said, Hex doesn't. I mean, Hex is good against it, but it's not like you drop Hex and you just win. So I don't think people are gonna go out of their way to counter it. They'll expect it, but they won't counter it.
Yeah, it has its own inconsistencies too, because it is a stage 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how the ball plays out. I think Metagross is still a strong deck. I still liked one Genesect of mine and one of the Escape Rope Metagross from AOR. So
I'm surprised we didn't see anyone playing that. That card's pretty cool actually.
They're just too busy playing 3 Vulpix or something, like Connor. Wild. All right, Vigavolt Bulu. For some reason, everyone's associating me with this deck, even though it runs nothing like Vigavolt GX. Which I find pretty entertaining. Yeah, I got tons of messages like, how'd you build your Vigid list now? And I sent her. They're like, oh, well, where's the Bulu? Why do you have DCE? And I was like, are you kidding me? It's a completely different deck. So, I think Vigavolt Bulu's good. Was I surprised by how many people played it? Kind of. I was more surprised about how well it was doing.
Yeah.
Because I kind of looked at it and I was just like, so you 180 and then I hex you and I beat your face in. But then I guess how many people were running hex? And I was really surprised when Charlie made top 8. But good on him for placing well with the deck. I didn't expect it to beat half the stuff in top 8, like the Vespiquen Liz and this and that. I don't understand how he lost to Daniel with Zoroark. Wait, no, I guess he can break copy the...
Yeah,
you just
break copy and smack him.
No, you copy 120, is that it? You can't copy 180.
You discard your energy.
You discard your energy.
Grass.
No, it's just discard all.
It's just discard all energy. It doesn't have to
discard
be
all energy. You discard one dark energy and you're just like one shot. You can also Lysander... Oh no, Vikavolt wouldn't work because it's a discard 3, right? But you might be able to, so I don't know how the ruling works.
You can. You can just discard as many as you have.
That's right, yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's what I
you
think.
do as much as you can.
So you can just like
depending on the
The
wording.
break doesn't make that a horrible matchup. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what wouldn't?
And I'm pretty sure he
Vigavolt
played 2
GX,
breaks,
dude.
so...
Vigavolt GX would dumpster that matchup. Easy. So, the Bulu list got a little bit intricate. There's a No VS Seeker one by John Roberts and Connor. There was the like half Coco, half Bulu, which was decent. There was the one that Charlie had that played a Hex for the mirror match, and I don't know. All around, I think it's a solid top of tier 2, maybe bottom of tier 1 deck. I expect to see a lot more of it coming up. I think people like playing stage 2s, in particular this deck, which I think requires a lot less how do I say, a lot less skill to pilot than the GX version does, because you don't have to play into your secondary evolution, you know?
Yeah.
So you have like your Vikavolt, and you're like, all right, Candy's down, I can do whatever now. I just attach on Grass Energy for the turn, I take a knockout. I don't like their energy lineup. I saw some of them weren't even playing Brock's Grit. It surprised the crap out of me.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Just like, just play
surprising.
Energy Recycler and Super Rod. Like, what? So,
I mean, if you have 2 Recycler, maybe, but the Grit seems pretty important.
like, the Grit's so important against non-EX decks, or non-GX decks. So, yeah. Weird stuff. How do you guys feel about Bulu? Because I'm, like, over here preaching, because
So I think it's one of those decks going into the tournament. It was obviously built to like be able to deal with Garb, and I think it does that. I think it beats it pretty handedly.
Yeah.
I think
really?
it can get a little.
I think it's the opposite. I think Garb just smashes his face in.
You have so much time.
The Bulu one?
Yeah, Bulu beats Trap.
Because I think everyone only plays 1 or 2 Charger Bug, and they have the candy to get it out, and then they play Heavy Ball and all this like random stuff.
Yeah, but that's not that bad. You can put items in your discard pile. They don't really.
Yeah.
You're not going to be one-shotting anything with Garb.
No,
yeah, if you're not one
they
shot.
only play like. I guess so. Whatever. Maybe because to me they're more dependent on, their abilities than the GX version is, which means if I go, Field Blower plus Garbotoxin and I feel like they lost. Like,
Yeah.
Like if they discard 180 on their Bulu, and then I make a Garbotoxin, and then I hit them with a Garb for like 80 to 100. Plus ban is like 110, you know, and then I end you. I'm just like, I think you lost unless you drew into like a Sycamore into a Field Blower, but.
I think the reason that doesn't happen though is because of the Bulu's GX attack. They can usually retain energy, and every Bulu I played against, I think they almost always got turn 2 Vikavolt. So like they were turn 2 Vikavolt, they were swinging, and they'd actually like I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It like runs super smooth because it pulls energy from deck.
Yeah,
it's like they go. The Bulu out active whatever, and they just like pull the energy from deck, and I was like, that kind of surprised me how smooth the deck runs once you get the Vikavolt out.
I think
like,
I
it kind of took me
Vikavolt GX with it. Like whenever I miss, I'm just like, well, this sucks. As soon as I set up, you lose. But yeah, it's busted. Isn't it crazy how they always have Rare Candy Vikavolt plus the Grass Energy in hand? Like without fail,
they have
turn
that
2, they have it so often.
They have it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like. I feel like you beat Garb, and then your other matchups are just fine. I feel like, but like I don't feel like you maybe don't have any very very strong matchups outside of the Garb matchup. Like I don't know how Metagross goes, but that wasn't an overly expected deck going into the tournament. Your Vespa Queen matchup is fine because of your GX attack. It's really hard for him to hit 180 by like turn 3 or 4. Well, maybe turn 4, but like by turn 3, it's hard to hit 180 with Vespa Queen. So you smack into a Bulu, and then just heal it, and then you have to get 180 the next turn. Otherwise, you're probably gonna lose the game. Because like the matchup gets really close, and then if you play Fighting Fury Belts, you should just win the matchup against Vespa Queen, which Rahul almost lost to. I think they won.
I don't know which deck Fighting Fury Belt in their Bulu.
I know
there was a Bulu playing Fighting Fury Belts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Rahul almost lost to it day 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think he ended up tying actually. But yeah, so like the deck like has like it seems to just have fine matchups overall. I don't think it has. I think your strongest matchup is maybe Drampa Garb. There's probably some better ones, stuff that's weak to grass, obviously. I don't know about
Lycanroc.
What's that card called? Like Lapras is probably pretty easy. Lycanroc's pretty easy. I bet Mega Ray is a really close matchup. Some of them played Sudowoodo, but even like Mega Rays are somehow getting around Sudowoodo like decently well. So I bet that's like still a close matchup. It just seems.
I can only imagine that deck folds to a Hex Maniac string.
Yeah,
like
I mean, unless you're able to like abuse the GX attack, like that's if you're playing against Hex or Ability Lock, you have to like efficiently use your GX attack to keep the energy in play while like taking a knockout. So if you can get that off in the game, I feel like you're fine against. I mean, Hex would still probably hurt, but you're fine against Garb because eventually you also have blowers to get more energy in play and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we were on the deck for a minute. Lorenzo's Bulu.
Lorenzo's Bulu. Go ahead, Brad.
Much different.
Yeah, like Mace's list seems fine. I don't like relying on Lurantis to set up your like first, second, and third Bulu, but being able to go aggro Bulu with elixirs, then set up late game with Lurantis seems pretty decent.
So that's why you prefer his over Jespers?
Yeah, I would definitely play it that way. Okay. I don't feel like relying on Lurantis to do everything. Like Lurantis as a late game thing is fine, but relying on Lurantis the entire game seems pretty mediocre, I guess. But I don't know. I wasn't that fond of the deck in the first place. But now that I think about it more, being able to do certain numbers without discarding energy because of the promo Lurantis, it seems okay. But I think Vikavolt just seems better.
Yeah, just a general feel for it. But you're not playing Rare Candy, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, but you're already beating Garb anyways, I think. So I mean, Lurantis destroys Garb. So, like, Vikavolt is fine against Garb already, but if you want to make sure you never lose to any Garbodor player, then sure, you can play Lurantis, but...
That just auto-scoops the Volcanion, right? You can't win that trade.
I don't think so.
You can with the Max Elixir version, because Bulu doesn't have weakness, so you can, like, swing plus N, swing plus Hex, but, because, like, on top of that, some Volcanion players just aren't playing Turtonator, which means they cannot one-shot through Hex. Or they don't, if you don't know the matchup as the Volcanion side, the Turtonator's your go-to against any Bulu deck because of Hex. So you got to be able to make sure you can one-shot through Hex, which Turtonator does with Choice Band.
The band, OP. Okay. I still think it's a good deck, though. Both of them. Like I said, at the top of Tier 2, bottom of Tier 1 kind of thing. Gyarados. The deck that Alex Dow,
Yep, undefeated.
Yeah, he won the League Cup, came back, won the next day at the Regional. He's like, I know one's going to counter me. I'm just going to bop him in the face.
It's pretty disgusting, honestly.
Yeah, that's disrespectful. You know?
Yeah. And you know, it's like
very...
That's so mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys like Gyarados? Will you guys play it? I never get the vibe that you guys like it in terms of actually piloting it. Like, would you go into a tournament playing it?
Probably not play it.
No.
I do like the deck, though. I think Gyarados is one of those decks, like, I never would criticize someone for playing in a tournament, like any tournament. You could name a tournament. I would be like, no. I think like even in Brazil, it was the play to make if you want to make day 2 but not win the tournament. And I'm like, fine if people want to like go with that route. And like pretty much any tournament, if someone's like, I'm playing Gyarados, I'm like, oh, Gyarados is always fine. I'm never gonna like criticize someone overly for playing Gyarados. I'm gonna be like, bro, that's just a bad play. Why would you do that? Gyarados is always kind of like that. It's like fine because you beat so many things so handedly, and then you can be super hard countered by stuff like Spinda, but like especially with how low played Decidueye is right now, like there's no deck that just beats you without teching for you. So it's just strong right now.
Yeah.
Plus
like,
Machoke's least beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, Machoke's good against like the random Espeons, and like no deck just plays the Coco promo really, except maybe Ninetales, I guess. So they have to like willingly put it in. And yeah, like Machoke's fine if you play the random people that still have like Oricorio and stuff in their deck. So yeah, I kind of agree, but I personally wouldn't play it because I don't want to hit the people that are playing those cards. Just like the round 1 guy that plays 4 Tapu Koko promos in his deck just because he can, kind of thing. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Do you expect to see it in Mexico?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
So tech to beat it, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you have,
I think if you
really
have
bad
that bad of a match, yeah. If you like, I expected a ton in Seattle, but I knew my matchup against him was okay. Like I knew I wasn't favored, but I knew I could just still kill their Octillery or end Garb them and be okay. So I didn't tech for it because I could still beat it. But if you're playing something that has no chance of beating it, then yeah, I think you should tech for it.
Yeah. Or if your matchup's like super close, I mean, if you can already just fit Oricorio in, making them play around that can sometimes be enough. Because like they have to always stretch it for 3 pretty much. You knock out a Gyarados, they can't be like stretch it for 1 because then you can Oricorio double snipe and stuff up. So
And you should be playing Hex, I think, anyway. So
yeah,
so
I saw a lot of people like not play around that. They left like a Gyarados or like a Tapu Lele or Shaman in their discard pile, and they just got Oricorio'd when they like send the stretcher in hand just because they don't feel like playing into it.
Yeah, no one really thinks about it. It's like you just don't think about it really.
Yeah.
But
you should.
Got to be. Yeah, now you have to be aware of it because Vespiquen, obviously people are gonna try and beat Vespiquen, and then Oricorio, like it's like a collateral damage to Gyarados over there.
Yeah, poor guy. So moving on from Gyarados, it's clearly a solid call because Alex Dow did really, really well with it. Ninetales, the like hands down most tier 2 deck we currently have in the format. Like it's not awful, but it's not winning anything, And it's something to look out for, but when you look out for it, you're like, well, it doesn't auto win me anyway, so I don't really care,
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Ninetales? Why do you think it's not getting any presence right now? Well, it has decent presence. It's not overwhelming. It's not Vikavolt, Bulu, Gar, Metagross kind of thing. Brad.
I don't I don't know. It feels like it should be decent, but I feel like it's so awkward because you have to do 160 damage. You have to discard 2 energy to attack anything. So you're not killing anything with the first attack or the GX attack unless they're like just smacking into you. So I feel like you're just always playing so awkwardly to take any knockout that it just doesn't feel that great unless they're playing. They're just like throwing three GXs at you or something to let you easily win the game. So if your opponent's smart, they can play around it pretty easily. You're forced to take such awkward knockouts and discard a lot of resources in order to take any knockout. So it just feels weird.
And Metagross is out. Like, that's blouses. That's game.
And Metagross, yeah.
It's over if you run into that. Azul, same thing. Don't really like Ninetales. I think
it has
I feel like you kind of liked it in the beginning. But you're just like,
yeah. It has 210, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you also have to deal with Bulu swinging into you, one-shotting you, and they don't really lose as much. I mean, if they have Vikavolt, they have Vikavolt. If they have Lurantis, they have Lurantis as well, like recharge. I don't know. The deck is just like it's just missing one thing. I don't know what it is. If it had just one, like overall, I think its first attack is like relatively weak, and a lot of people like it for some reason. But it's like I think its first attack is like very mediocre to put your Ninetales in that position and you're active, and then be like, I'm gonna do 50 to your bench guy. All right.
Yeah.
And then he's active and he's gonna take a big swing, and then you have to use your GX attack to like keep up. But like Ninetales is just barely. I don't know what it is. It's just missing something. It needs a little bit of something. I thought Coco promo might be it, but it obviously wasn't.
No.
So it's super close to being like a really really strong tier 1 deck. It's just missing like a little bit. Maybe it's like the perfect list, or there's a secret tech out there that it just needs. But it's super close, but not quite there.
It feels really bad going up and hitting for 52 because you're usually doing it with a DTE, so you're not even threatening the second attack at all. Like there's no way you're getting 2 water to your active. So
yeah. So
realistically,
last deck, Decidueye, Ninetales, Plume. The only one to make top 32 in Madison made top 8 and lost, which was holy crap.
Tarbell.
Homie Tarbell. Why is it seeing less play? And isn't it kind of, I don't know, you guys think it's slept on? Like really really hard right now? Like no one's respecting it. At least from what I'm seeing, you know? And people are going lifts without hex or lifts without like the counters anymore to it. We all used to play Wobbuffet before, and now we're just like whatever, man. They can take a bad Trample Guard matchup and do that.
I feel like if you're playing Trample Garb or Espeon Garb, you're already kind of favored in that matchup anyways. Or if you're playing to beat those decks, your deck is also just better against Plume because you're cutting items for other consistency cards in your deck, so you have more consistency to play around item lock. So like a turn 1 Plume, if you're playing 15 supporters versus 10, makes a big difference.
Solid.
Anything
to add on the decision?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically just got collateral damage because of Garb. Like, Garb's like, can't play items. And they're like, okay, we'll put more stuff that's not items. And then it's like, Decidueye's like, wait, hold on, why? And yeah, so it got collateral damage there. But besides that, I think the deck is fine. I don't know how your Metagross matchup is. I don't know how your Vika Bulu matchup seems bad. If they ever get the Vikavolt out. So I think most people were playing 2 Grubbin or Charjabug.
You actually kind of stomped them with the Lysander, the Vikabulu. It's really hard for them to retreat, and in order to get like the rare candy plus this, okay, and then hit one of their 2 Floatstone, it makes it awkward. So if you get Plume online, it's
most of the ones I saw were playing
3.
But you can just attack with it. That's another thing. You can just attack with it.
That's fine.
There's a risk of running out of energy with Vikavolt though, I guess.
Oh, that's not a risk. It's a guarantee.
Well, if they're not playing Brock's Grid, especially.
Yeah, if you can't find your Brock's Grid, like you're gonna run out of energy. That's the thing. But I think overall you should have a good matchup against the Decidueye. I think Metagross should as well, especially with like a heavy Vulpix line, because you're already running 3 Me tanks. So you just need to sit there for a while and get your Metagross out. I could be wrong on those. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was just decks are more prepared to beat Garb, which in turn makes them more prepared to beat Decidueye.
Yeah, you can also
and you also have a bad Garb matchup, so it's like
yeah,
really, really bad. All right, sick. I mean, you guys don't have to tell us exactly what your play for Mexico cities. If you're going to a League Cup, for all the people that are not going to Mexico, which I assume is a lot of Americans, what would be your call just to make a safe call, you don't know what the meta is. Azul.
Volcanion. I'm actually Turbo Dark, but not Schultz Turbo Dark, like old school Turbo Dark, Trainer's Mail and everything, and just kind of get in there. Because Garb is like your only bad matchup. Like that's it. The Garb is your only bad matchup when you play the deck with Trainer's Mail. So yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, I think cups are kind of just easy, so I'd play literally anything. I'd just go play Guardy again, honestly.
Yeah.
Don't play that deck.
Yeah.
Dude, Guardy's good.
Consistency.
Yeah, something that you can do what you want to do every game, and then if you know what specific people in your area are playing, beat them.
Counter them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's gonna make top 8. He lost.
Yep.
Better not see me as top 8. All right. Do you guys have anything else to add? Anything you want to say to the people, or just anything? Follow your stream or something.
Yes.
So twitch.tv/it's Azul with a Z.
It's Azul.
S.
S.
Okay.
S. Yeah, check out my stream. Won't be streaming until after Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was gonna stream today and then I napped and I overslept. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It's actually been, holy crap, 36 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, but some juicy information out there for you guys. We're gonna do a lot of testing coming up before nationals. We might do like 2 more discussion videos before then, just to kind of see how we currently feel about the meta, or analyzing League Cups around the area, analyzing Mexico City. Be sure to look out for our articles coming out. I know Azul and Brad have been super busy, so they've kind of cut back. But we added Kenny Britton and Kian Amini to the writing team, so they're gonna be putting out a lot of good content, and I should come up with more crazy decks in order to play. Oh, and then one last thing I want to add is I think Galate Octillery is about to make a comeback, especially in Mexico City. I think it's gonna be good, dude. Super cool. But all right, guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy.
Peace.
Cool.